By the authority invested in me, I hereby declare the meeting of the Conshohocken Borough Council duly open and ready to conduct any business that may come before it. Prayer of council?
O divine Master, in deep humility, we place ourselves, our thoughts, and our plans in thy hands. We beg thee to fill our minds and our wills with the gifts of wisdom, understand, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, and piety. Help us not to think of ourselves or personal desires, but rather consider the responsibilities laid upon us. Help us to promote, as far as possible, the welfare of our people and to treat them with impartiality and justice. Grant us the power to set a good example in thought, word, and deed, so that thy blessings will be showered upon us and the people we represent. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Roll call. Councilmember Tutino.
Present.
Councilmember Griffin.
Here.
Councilmember Sokolowski.
Here.
Councilmember Barton.
Here.
Councilmember Stokely.
Here.
Vice President Flanagan.
Here.
President Leonard.
Here.
Mayor Aronson.
Here.
Thank you.
I do have one announcement. There was an executive session tonight before the regular meeting for legal matters.
President Leonard, there are no presentations this evening, so I'll move into consent agenda. There are two items. There is to approve and adopt the June 6th and June 20th meeting minutes, and to approve the June ending treasurer's report and accounts payable in the amount of $628,815.93. I would need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is to discuss the Planning Commission recommendations for the Historic Overlay Conservation District ordinance amendments. Mr. Peters, I'll turn this over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Checo. The Planning Commission considered the HRC Conservation Overlay District Amendment at their meeting on July 12th. They had some very good suggestions that I wanted to bring back to council. We have the ability to incorporate these suggestions and still stay on more or less the same timeline that had been proposed before. Just to walk council through them briefly. Section 1, there's a clarification just to make clear that the comprehensive plan update that's referenced therein is the one that council recently adopted on June 20th, 2018. Moving down to section 1905C, we have added as one of the pieces of information to be provided with the application, anticipated traffic, parking demand, and hours of operation, which I think will serve council in its consideration. We have also added, where relevant, information regarding the age and condition of existing utilities, HVAC systems, electrical wiring, plumbing, and water and sewer systems. We had previously had in that section, which discusses information required for determination of whether or not a historic single-family dwelling may be demolished, structural information. The Planning Commission thought that it may also be helpful should information be provided about some of the more expensive utility and HVAC-based materials within a house, and I agree. And finally, we added in a requirement. This would be a requirement of your zoning ordinance anyway, but this makes it clear that the proposed new use will be served by sufficient parking as required by the parking regulations. Those same changes were made to section 27-1906C with respect to conversion of historic single-family detached dwellings. So again, you'll see the information required, traffic, parking demand, and hours of operation, information including regarding the HVAC, utilities, electrical wiring, plumbing, and water and sewer systems, and again, the requirement that the property be served by sufficient parking. The only addition to conversion not set forth in the demolition section relates to existing healthy mature trees. We had already had a requirement that they be preserved in the front and side yards. The Planning Commission suggested that they also be preserved in the rear yard unless, of course, and this is the balance, unless removal is required because there is a permitted footprint change to the building. Those are the changes that the Planning Commission had. What I need from you, this does not have to go back before them because these are changes made by them. I simply need your authorization, should you choose, to advertise this version of the ordinance and not the version previously approved.
So just to clarify and sum that up, there is no change to the intent behind what was originally proposed to you. You're dealing with specific issues relating to parking, traffic, utilities, and trees that the Planning Commission felt were important to add in. You have two choices. You either go back to the original that was presented to you that doesn't factor in those additional Planning Commission items, or you feel that the Planning Commission's intent behind adding those additional items is valid and you approve this version. You have both options.
So you need a motion to approve this.
That's
Yes.
correct, to advertise.
To
to
approve
advertise.
advertisement.
I would make that motion to advertise.
I'll second it.
To advertise the revised.
Correct.
Yes.
I am in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. We'll move forward with this one.
Okay. Moving on to new business, the first item is to consider approving a fee waiver request for the Pink Pearls of Hope Tea, which is the historic St. John AME Church, for the use of the community center. This is an annual request made by St. John AME Church. It is for breast cancer awareness. They are requesting the use of the community center on October 20th, 2018, from 12 to 4 p.m. They are requesting the fee waiver only. As we do with all fee waiver requests, they would still be required to turn in their insurance certificate.
Anyone have any questions? Or need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for that motion. I do just want to point out one specific aspect when it comes to fee waiver requests. We are in the process administratively, under the guidance of council, to evaluate all fee waiver requests across the board,
Yes.
not just when it comes to recreation. So as we are compiling any requests that we receive, we will make sure that you get a record of any and all requests that came in. What we are most likely putting in front of you are the ones that you've approved annually. But it should be noted that we are in the process of evaluating fee waiver requests across the board.
I'm glad to hear that. I think that we all have to really look at our fee waivers
Right.
and put some rhyme and reason behind it. I think if we take a look at what our fees are to begin with, they're probably on the lower side. And I'm not suggesting that we don't waive the entirety, but it may be that there is some percentage that could then go back. But just kind of look at that.
Okay, just a side statement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to approve the renewal of contracts for professional services for the Housing Rehabilitation Program. Ms. Stetler?
Thank you. Last year, we did a procurement procedure for the consultants for our housing rehabilitation program, intake coordinator, rehabilitation specialists, environmental testing. Because of the uncertainty of how the program is going to proceed and how our consultants are going to be working, the contract was written so that we can, was written for a total of 3 years, but to be renewed annually in case there's no money, in case someone retires, in case something else happens. So we need to renew for 2018 the contracts of Nancy Nugent, Carl Royer, and D-Tech Environmental Testing.
Okay.
Everything else within the contract, the fee rate, the time frames are all the same. And they are all agreeable to renewing this.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chris.
I'd just like to say that those, Nancy, that group, they do a great job.
They really
And
do.
that means a lot to the borough when a senior or somebody gets that money to do something that they can't afford. It's just a blessing to them.
I will
mean,
pass that along to them.
No, really, a lot of people really appreciate that.
Yeah, we have some good folks.
Yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you,
Stetler, if
Chris.
you could stay. Ms.
Uh,
Stetler?
Chris?
Oh, she's getting her other documents.
No.
Next item is to consider 340 East 9th Avenue zoning hearing board application. If you want to introduce the application, Chris.
Yes, Mr. DePietro is here representing the developer. This is a project that is at 340 East 9th Avenue. It's in the Borough Residential 1 zoning district. It's a rather large lot of 84,000 square feet. It's 60 by 140. In 2015, the developer had put together a proposal to demolish the existing dwelling and to construct 2 single-family semi-detached dwelling. Nothing has happened since that time. The land development process was started, but we believe it was not completed. The property is currently being rented, and the developer has since decided that single-family detached houses are more desirable in Conshohocken, and to implement that, the project now requires zoning relief because it only has 60-foot wide, 60 feet in width. Single-family detached dwellings require a 40-foot width for each lot, so he's 20 feet short. So the idea would be to have this go to zoning in August, and we simply need to confirm that they meet the only other issue in this one is where the front yard setback will be. It should match what's on the street now. Mr. DePietro?
Thank you, Ms. Stetler. Good evening, members of council.
Good evening, John.
As Ms. Stetler indicated, this project goes back to 2015. We proposed by right a plan to do 2 twins. We didn't need any zoning relief. Land development was started. In the midst of that, the market changed. And I would also like to point out that your revised comprehensive plan sort of favors single-family residential ownership. That's what has changed. In order to separate the two and to really foster people living here, not just renting in the borough, my client would like to have 2 unattached dwelling. We need a dimensional variance of the lot width. Normally, the lot width is 40 feet. We would have 30. That's the only variance that we believe we need. This is the largest lot on that block. Both sides of the street actually have homes on there currently that run between 20, 17, 25 feet in width. So this would still be bigger than what is there at present.
Right.
And we would ask council's support. We will be going to the zoning board in August, but we would like council's support to make that small change.
Okay.
Mr. Brasso is here in case there are any questions.
Yes, you'd have to make a motion to recommend if you're so inclined.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions
I'll make the motion.
to recommend?
I'll second.
All in favor?
The zoning board.
Aye.
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 Everyone? All opposed?
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Mr. Brasso, thank you for listening to what's been going on over the last year and a half and taking that into consideration as you're developing properties in Conshohocken. We do appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you seeing our vision.
Sure.
Thank
Much-
you.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
You're welcome. John? Very sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to say hello. I was in the pew.
I know.
Thank you.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next item on the agenda is to consider approving the addition of expedited review and inspection fees on the borough fee schedule. As you're aware, borough administration and our professionals have been revamping the land development process over the course of the last 6 months. During these discussions, especially relevant to larger land developments that are coming into the borough and pending, we've identified the need for expedited review and inspection fees. This has been vetted through our borough code official. And the language that would be added to the fee schedule under the building permit section is specifically expedited plan review fee, borough cost per hour times 2. Are there any questions?
No questions? Someone like to make a motion?
I would make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is to consider approving the sale of community center items and adopting Resolution 14 of 2018 to establish procedures for the sale of surplus personal property with a fair market value of less than $1,000. Again, as we're looking at processes across the board, one of the items that we're interested in being able to do is consolidate our efforts and actually be able to sell items that are less than $1,000 in order to get some money for them as we bring in new items. So in order to do that, we need to pass a resolution if it's something that you're interested in doing. And Mr. Peters, if you wanted to walk through what that procedure would look like.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So Section 1201.2B of the Pennsylvania Borough Code allows you to do this. And the understanding is that there are some sales of smaller value that are worthy of an administrative sale rather than having to come before council every time, for example, there's a $200 or $300 item that needs to be sold. The Borough Code specifically allows you to do so as long as you establish a procedure for doing so, and the top limit that the Borough Code allows you to set a procedure for is $1,000, which is what the resolution that is before you provides for. We have, in Section 2 of that resolution, established what I believe to be a relatively straightforward procedure. It vests the responsibility of determining estimated fair market value with your borough manager. It does, however, provide that the borough manager may appoint such individuals to help her with that task. She must obtain three estimated values from vendors. I included that those vendors may be internet auction sites or sales sites, just because, practically speaking, that may be the easiest way to determine what the fair market value of an item is. You would take not the highest estimate or the lowest estimate, you would take the middle estimate, and we would make that the quote-unquote minimum price that it could be sold for. And then the borough manager is responsible for soliciting written offers. The items need to be offered at a price that's at least as high as the minimum price, that middle price between the lowest and the highest. The borough manager is authorized to use electronic auctions. You're all familiar with Municipid or any other means to solicit those offers. After 3 consecutive business days following the most recent purchase officer, the borough manager is authorized to accept that offer and take any steps to effectuate sale. And you will be kept in the loop. At your next council meeting, you will receive information relating to the sale. So that is what is before you. This is a procedure that was not made out of whole cloth. It's used elsewhere. It has been tweaked by me, but it is in many respects recommended by the State Boroughs Association. Most of my additions related to allowing the use of internet auction sites for purposes of effectuating the sale and determining fair market value. So if you are comfortable approving this, a motion would be appropriate to approve the resolution. And again, you can repeal the resolution at any time. You will get reports about what's being sold. And obviously, if you're unhappy with how it's proceeding, then we can change course.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is to consider approving Marywood Park House operational procedures. As we are all aware, the borough has taken a concerted effort in revamping Marywood Park property. Clearly, the park is open for the public, and it is a hot commodity. So many thanks to the Public Services Department for all of their work in getting that park open. And I think it's an understatement to say that the public is enjoying utilizing the new amenity. Along with that, there's also the Marywood Park House. And we have to discuss the operations of that house moving forward. So administratively, we've reviewed some items. What we're looking for this evening is direction from council and basically permission to move forward with those operations. A building cannot function if there's not procedures around it. So this is going towards the concept of facility management. So some of the items that have been discussed are keys. Right now, keys will be given to the Recreation Department and Public Services. Recreation from an operational perspective, Public Services from a facility management perspective. That would mean that two entities that currently use the building, the Historical Society and the Art League, will not be given keys. They will be utilizing they will have to go through and schedule for use of the facility through our Director of Recreation. No keys will be given council members as with other facilities. Any discussion on that point?
Yeah, I'm not happy with them not having keys. I mean, they've been in this building for how many years, and now all of a sudden we're deciding to make this, that they can't get into the building now without having to go ask
So,
somebody?
Anita, what happens if they have keys and they schedule something and it's not scheduled with the borough and something happens?
Well, I
Whose
think they should-
liability is that?
Well, I think they should still go through with scheduling.
But they don't.
Right, and Anita, I've also talked to Joe Collins today and to Eileen McDonald, and they're fine. They understand the new procedure protects them from a
Okay.
liability stand.
Okay.
You know, that's the biggest issue that we have right now, is that if we don't control our facilities, the liability is still on us.
Okay.
So they were okay with
And
it.
they did understand it.
Yes.
I think it should be stressed that we understand the importance of those two organizations and groups
absolutely.
that utilize the building. We also understand the connection that they have with that building.
Right.
So it's not an intent of removing them from the building. It's putting some structure around how it's utilized. That's the only underlining intent.
Okay.
Next item would be that, again, Recreation Department will keep a master use calendar for the house, just like they do with all other facilities. This will include getting schedules from Joe for the Historical Society and Eileen for the Art League. Again, if there are items we need to work through, we will work through them. But they're going to need to schedule use of the building through Lauren. Lauren has already had meetings with both Eileen and Joe, and the dates are in the calendar. I also think that it's an amenity now that will be available to the public that currently wasn't. So on the website, the public will be able to see when the Art League is having classes and when the Marywood Park House is available and how you can rent it and et cetera. So it's, again, just bringing it into the fold of what we're doing with our other facilities. Any questions on that point?
And the hours for the community center are 7 a.m. Normally.
Yes, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday. It opened until 7 on Friday, and then 8 to 4 Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Currently closed for summer hours during Sunday.
Right.
I got a
So,
question on that when you're done.
yeah, so it doesn't restrict the Historical Society or the Art League in any way because the key is going to be accessible all those hours. So they'll be fine.
Oh, great, thanks.
So the community center, doesn't it open at 6 a.m. now?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
My fault when you
Yeah.
said 7, yes.
Okay.
Sorry. I put 7 in your head. I know. I'm sorry.
We're putting Lauren on the
People like
spot.
to- A lot of
work
people
out.
like to work out before they go to.
Right.
And
We do. We have a
get
staff mem-
activity? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
We get activity early like that for that? Extra hour?
We did, and we will.
Again?
And again, yes.
Okay.
I will have a program that starts at 5:45, actually.
I'll be there.
Gonna be a boot camp. Come on and join.
Okay.
Got anything at 3 a.m.?
That would be the pub, no.
Yeah, right?
Jeez.
Okay, next item is that for the facility rental form, that Marywood Park House will be added to the same form. So anyone who wants to utilize the building will complete the permit form along with a waiver or certificate of insurance, just like the community center. So it's been added, and it will be rolled out to the public, and that is how the public will be able to utilize the house, or if anyone wants to have meetings, it will be managed. Again, the Marywood Park House will be open only during the normal hours of operation that the community center is open. Everyone should be aware of the fact that the community center staff will open and close the building, but there's not going to be a site supervisor or site or staff on site during a meeting or an event. It's open, close. If we want to change that in the future, that would be part of the budget discussion for 2019. The only option at this point for rentals would be the first floor space. Again, that does not include the Historical Society or the Art League. This is anyone from the outside who wants to come in and utilize the building as an amenity.
Can I get a waiver?
The rental fee for the house will be $50 an hour. That is aligned with a current fee for use of a room in the community center. Again, if we want to reevaluate that as we go, we will do so, but we're keeping it aligned with what we are currently doing. It should be noted that the Art League and the Historical Society will not be charged the rental fee. So use of the building for their purposes is no charge. However, they will be required to provide a certificate of insurance. And Councilmember Flanagan, thank you for reaching out on their behalf to your contact for the commercial insurance vendor. I'm sure they'll appreciate that assistance.
Are they charging anybody, the Art League, are they charging their people?
For classes they register for, to pay the teachers.
Oh, just to pay, okay.
Right,
pay the teachers.
right.
But it's
Yes.
not a profit-making thing?
No,
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 Okay,
no.
that's
So,
fine.
And then our Public Services Department will monitor the building on an as-needed basis for issues, repairs, et cetera. The only item that we have not worked through is custodial and cleaning issues, which we'll have to discuss administratively.
Okay.
But the building has also been added to the work order system. So it's up and running. What I need from you is just a motion to say yes to the operations that are presented in front of you this evening, or not. And any concerns or questions you might have.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Last item on the agenda is to consider approving participation in the PSAB Exploring PA Boroughs television show, and I'll turn that over to Councilmember Barton.
I was approached by the PSAB. They are now doing small videos of different boroughs within the state. And they've approached us to ask us if we would be interested in doing a small video that would be put on their website, and we'd be given a copy to put on our website in order to promote our borough and to let people kind of get a feel for what it's like to live here. And next week, Stephanie and the mayor and I will be setting up a meeting with Leslie, and then we'll break down as to how that will happen and who will be involved in it.
Great. Is there a cost to us, Anita?
No, no cost at
Oh,
all.
great. Even better.
Yes, it's a free video.
Does anyone have any questions?
Sounds great.
Need a motion? Yeah, we need a motion, right?
I don't think he needs a motion.
We do?
Yes, our solicitor is asking a very good question. Do we have the right to approve the content prior to it being published?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we do.
Do we need a motion?
Need a motion?
Do we need a motion for that? No.
Okay.
That's all I have, President Leonard.
Public comment? Come on up. Uh-oh.
Deborah Scoville, 76 Poplar Street. Two things. I wanted to know if we had any feedback on the pool place, the contents of the yard for the pool on the 300 block of Elm Street.
Mr. Sokolowski, do we have anything from an L&I perspective regarding the pool company?
The contents to what respect? There's probably one at that location that would be considered any more of a high hazard than any normal location such as that. There's nothing that requires it to be, any of the contents in there to be encapsulated in any kind of building. months ago, Chris Small from our department went in there, and he has pictures of what it looked like prior to him going there and what it looks like now. It's considerably different. It will never be perfect. It will always, the function, the functionality of that particular property is what it is. It's I wouldn't say it's a dump, but they actually use it to store materials for their job. In order for us to prevent them from doing that, it potentially could impede their business. They've been there a long time. Right now, we don't see any reason to escalate any enforcement at that particular property.
So, I haven't looked at it in a few weeks, so you're saying that they did remove some things and,
We have photographs, it's considerably different than it was, let's say, several months ago.
because there was a lot of, automobiles, trucks was in there. There's stuff just stowed all around there.
There were engine blocks in there that were removed, things that were hidden by the shrubs and trees
Mhm.
that were cut down, that had to be removed. But I would say they have made a considerable effort to clean up their property.
I wish that they could be a little bit more considerate for the neighbors that are down there and have to deal with that. The neighbors been down there just as long as they've been there. And the way that they maintain that property is just so, it's so unacceptable. So I haven't looked at it, but I will definitely take a look at it on my way home. I will stop in there to see it, but there was just things just thrown all over the place. And it's not a typical, it is a junkyard. That's basically what it is. There's things thrown all over the place. There's all kinds of items, there's containers, there's vehicles all over the place. And so I haven't seen it in a few weeks, but I will take a look at
It's
it.
certainly different than it was several months ago, like I said, but their operation, that is part of their operation. It's never gonna be it's gonna be a commercial property, for a pool cleaning company right now. And that involves heavy machinery, that involves storage of certain chemicals.
When I say machinery down there, it's machinery that's been sitting there for many, many years in the same spot. I'm not talking about a little bit of disorder. I'm talking about a lot of disorder
No, I
that the neighbors are subject to.
I understand. And
So-
it's at a better level than it was several months ago.
Okay, I will.
If that changes, then we'll address it. But at this point, I don't believe that we plan on doing any more enforcement. There were several enforcement letters that were sent to them, and they abided by it. And we have photographs to back up.
So can I also ask about the automotive detailing place that's right next to it?
It depends on what part you want to talk about.
Well, he has materials on, outside the building on both sides of the property. He's on the neighbors' properties. There's a lot of containers there as well. And as far as code, I mean, he's beyond his hours, his working hours of being there.
Well, that's something that I think, hours, we can have a discussion with the police department. Hours of operation, in general, if they're not, there's nothing specifically in our code that talks about commercial properties, and other than construction, performing construction. If it's disrupting the neighborhood, then obviously there's something that code enforcement could do, and potentially the police department, if that's what's.
I don't know why we have code if we don't enforce it. He
Well, that-
has all kinds of,
Well, nobody said we're not enforcing it.
well, I
That's
know that they're
that's
not
true.
enforcing because he does have
There is a
hours that he is to
procedure that we
abide
have
by.
to follow.
Ms. Stovall, I think that our point here is that we have heard your concerns, and we appreciate you bringing them to our attention. They have been passed on to our L&I department. They have
To the
proactive.
what department? I'm
The
sorry.
licensing and inspections, I'm
Okay.
sorry, code. They have addressed it. They have set out enforcement measures per our enforcement process. So I don't want you to feel as though your concerns are being ignored. There's just parameters that we need to operate, that we've done. specifically because you brought them to our attention, so we appreciate that.
But I've never heard anything back. I'm not coming up here because I don't have anything else better to do. I just actually got off of work.
Okay, so what you're telling me then is your concern is that we never responded?
No one has contacted me at all. No council person, no borough hall. I'm talking about the light industry that's down south of Elm Street. And I just feel as though the borough should be looking to see what's going on down there.
Okay.
And you got cars all up on the
But
lawns.
what we're telling you is that we have.
But no one has contacted me to let me know.
So for that, I apologize. I will put together exactly what has been done based off of your concerns, and I will send you a formal correspondence, so I do apologize.
Yep.
Okay.
And my next item is also about the parking, Chief. If there was any feedback on the delivery, maybe trying to open up some of the parking in that area. We were going to see when they have deliveries there. And if they don't have deliveries, especially on the weekends or even in the evening, we can open up like 5 or 6 parking spaces there.
So you're talking specifically on at what location?
Right in front of Aubrey Collins Park where the trucks need to swing. So
And there's currently signs there indicating, you know, parking, and you want that to change?
I'm looking to, they get deliveries in the morning. I've never seen deliveries in the evening, and I've never seen deliveries on the weekends. But even the weekend would definitely help. There's about 5 or 6 parking spaces that could be open. As it stands now, it's no parking, and so it's taken up 5 or 6 parking spaces.
Does it say loading and unloading? It just says no parking?
No, it just says no parking. So even if we can get something that says like, you know, Monday through Friday, 6 to whatever.
Directly in front of Aubrey
Collins Park, yeah, it's the company across the street, so he needs to be able to swing to get in there. So I understand that. But they don't get deliveries, yes. They don't get deliveries in the evening or on the weekend.
That's a good point. They could open
So, I mean, we got a very popular restaurant right there on the corner.
Right.
There's a gym across the street. So, you know,
that gym's pretty active.
it's very active, it's very busy. The restaurant is very active, it's very busy. So any parking spaces that could be open, it will help out the whole neighborhood.
Mr. Will, can you give your phone number to Brittany Rogers, if you don't
Sure.
mind? Okay, thank you.
610-908.
You don't have to do it in
That's okay.
Okay.
It's what everybody knows me, 2107. And then I just wanted to tell you a story. I just feel like sometimes that area, the 2nd and 3rd Ward, doesn't have representation, or sometimes the borough doesn't know what's going on down in that area. But last year, around this time, there was a UPS tractor trailer that pulled up in front of the playground. I'm on my way to work. I thought it was a little odd, but I figured that maybe he was lost, looking at his directions or whatever. I got in about 10:30 that night, pretty much went to bed, but when I woke up the next morning, I was surprised the truck was still there. In front of a playground, tractor trailer on a residential street. I just found it hard to believe that nobody called, nobody talked to him to see what was going on. When I got into work the next morning, I did call the borough, and they in turn did call the police. And the guy, the truck driver, said that he couldn't make his delivery. He was waiting to make a delivery. Why would a tractor trailer of that size, a UPS tractor trailer, be allowed to sit on a residential street in front of a park and nobody notices or says anything? So this is what is frustrating, and I feel like it's neglected down there in that area. This is the kind of stuff that goes on down at the lower end, and I can't sit there and not say anything. Just like everybody else has an investment, my home is my investment. So thank you for your time. I'll just wait to get a response, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Any other public comment? Nope, nobody's good. Mayor Aronson? I'm remembering tonight.
Yeah. Just because it's been a little while since we've been here, I did want to thank our police, EMS, and fire personnel for their work on the 4th of July. We had from all over, a ton of boroughs and townships all around us contributed people to help. Sarah and I were around after the fireworks, ran into Sergeant Connor trying to clear kids out. So I know it was a long night, and for our admin too with all the rain. So thank you for that. I know I speak for all of our residents and council when I thank Public Works for the tremendous work on the Marywood Park Playground as well. It seems to be a big hit from what I've seen. It's packed every time I drive by there. So thank you again, Ray. And I just want to make sure everyone knows we have our concerts in the park on Thursday nights, 7 o'clock, Sutcliffe Park. The final 4 concerts will be at Marywood Park. So I hope everyone can get down there. It's free. So
Newspaper taxis tomorrow night.
ooh.
Mr. Stokely?
Yes. I'd just like to bring back to council our former president for 32 years, Jerry McTammy, to dedication. I want to bring it back and try to get something on paper of when we can do this.
I have it scheduled for our next working meeting in
Okay.
August, the first one.
Okay.
So in the meantime, we can get ideas together and get it going. It's something that, yes, you're absolutely right. We want to get
We need
moving
to-
it done, yes.
And
Yep, we're
Yep.
on the move on
Okay.
that.
Again, I want to talk to Marywood Park after the ceremony. Well, the Public Works, the great job they did. I went down there. I took my wife down there around 6 p.m., and it was really neat to see all the kids lined up, and they were organized. There was 30 kids lined up on that, and it was just good to see. So I have to tell you, Ray mentioned it too. I think we need one at all the parks.
Great.
It would be nice to.
Budget, Bob, budget.
Also, walking in the park early in the morning, I really have to, we have to appreciate what Conshohocken Little Leagues does to our fields.
Right.
I mean, they are maintained, they got sprinklers on them, and I have to give them a hands up for what they do down there, because I don't think we give them any money anymore, do we? I don't think we fund them at all. Yeah.
Conshohocken Little League does an amazing job
Yeah,
taking
it's
care of those fields
it's
for those,
impressive
for
down
the
there.
baseball and for all the kids. It's
It's
amazing,
impressive.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Barton?
Yes, do you want me to do the short report for the sewer authority?
Please.
Okay, the bills went out. Unfortunately, there was a glitch in them for the sewer bills. Their system went down, so their bills are a little late. The percentage that you get off or a late fee has been extended to the 21st, so you will get your percentage off, and you won't be charged a late fee. They're trying to get that all straightened out now. It was a huge mess. We had a visit from the president of the Homeowners Association for the Grand, and he just was raising questions about I'm sorry, this is a different computer, and I keep touching it and it doesn't work. He was worried about the prompt payment and the discount that you can get, and we discussed that with him, and he was fine. Our audit is online for you to view if you would like to look at it. We also have a liner project coming up. It'll be an installation of a liner for the sanitary sewer main from Caldwell Road all the way to the Grand at Washington. This includes the crossing at Elm. It'll be cleaned and televised. They're going to run a tube through it.
Is that invasive?
I believe they're going to have to shut the road down at some point in order to finish that and complete the liner. The liner is constructed of, I believe, PVC, but it just gets inserted, and they will at some point close that whole intersection down in order to connect everything together.
Is it possible we can try to hook up and see when that's going to happen? So we can hook the residents?
I'm sorry?
We could hook up later, if you don't mind telling me when that's going to be. I guess it's going to be well
July
outside.
23rd to August 11th will be the installation.
Do you know
and
when
during-
the intersection's going to be closed down?
I'm reading that right now. During this time, the sanitary sewerage will need to be flows bypass one. There'll be one travel lane. Okay, so the road will be partially opened so that we can still allow traffic through. They'll probably have flaggers there. And we're currently updating our rules and regulations and things like that. So, and everything is going forward. Our capping system is almost finished down there. And that's about it. There's just minor things that need to be done now.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Steph, maybe we can put that somewhere on the website about the late notices so that people get it from our website also.
Yeah, because if they don't know to look at the sewer site, they'll look at ours.
Right, it's just another way to get it out there.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then I'll give you, do you want me to forward that information regarding the street closing?
I think both pieces of information would be beneficial,
Okay,
and then we
Will
can,
do.
we can put them both out.
okay.
Okay.
Ms. Sokolowski?
Yeah, I'll just do a quick update from the CRC committee meeting this past month. What's going on down there is they're in the middle of their race season, and they're having a very good race season, and it's very exciting to see them progress and grow as a rowing club. I'm excited to say that they have the largest membership from Conshohocken for the summer program. So I think that finally it's starting to catch on a little bit, and the community is taking advantage of the Learn to Row programs. And the committee is definitely interested in developing actual competitive rowers out of the Borough of Conshohocken. So that's an exciting thing to be working with them because it can take the kids into scholarships and all kinds of things as they grow in their sport. Yeah. They're doing a bunch of landscaping. I don't know if anybody got a chance to go down to the bank and see all the wildflowers along the bank. They look really good, and they're going to continue to do that. There is some bank repair and maintenance that has to be done because of just kind of use and wear and tear. So that there is some repairs that have to happen there. There's some roof repairs and dock repairs that are going on as well. The membership is good. It's actually where they expect it to be at this time in their endeavor. So things are looking good at the rowing center, and I'm pleased with the idea that the community is starting to catch on that it's down there as an amenity.
Right. I was actually talking to one of our residents whose son is in it this year, and he was saying how much he enjoyed it and the other kids that are in there, and what a great opportunity it is for him, and they're going to continue in the fall, so.
It's wonderful. That's all I have.
Ms.
Can I
Flanagan?
say one thing about
Oh,
that? Maybe we should have that, some kind of a fundraiser or just a get-together down there with council and people from the borough, just to bring, it'd be nice to visit that down there and bring some people down there and utilize that second floor, I mean.
Right.
Maybe we can have a fundraiser down there for the Marywood Park.
right.
That's
Yeah.
great.
That's a great
That'd be
idea.
a great area to have it.
Nice
Something we
place to
can,
have it. Nice place
right.
to
What a
have it.
beautiful view.
something we can plan on, yeah. It's a good idea, Bob.
Great.
Ms. Flanagan?
I just wanted to confirm what Stephanie said about us being totally supportive of the Conshohocken Historical Society and also the Conshohocken Art League. They are almost the unknown gems of our culture.
Yes.
And it's up to us as council people, and the mayor has taken it as one of his initiatives also to promote membership in those two great organizations. So I just want to say, yes, we are totally behind them.
Ike?
No, I just want to give a shout out to Ray and the guys at the Public Work for the great job they get down on Marywood Park.
It was a great job, yes. Tina?
Yeah, lots of excitement happening in the summer in Conshohocken. We've discussed Marywood Park and several others. I'd like to zero in on two activities that have been really successful, two specifically, and one would be the Soapbox Derby. This year, there were an additional 15 or 16 kids. It was very exciting. It was a very hot day. We had 3 of our winners that are now in Akron, Ohio. All 3 from each different category are females. And then what we had, starting last Tuesday, we have the Conshohocken tournament. So we've been hosting games for all the teams in the area and showing off our Sutcliffe Park. It was truly showcased from, and it still goes on, so from last Tuesday or Wednesday and through tomorrow evening. Last Thursday night, we had games on all the fields. We had the music playing in the park, there were kids, there were adults of all ages, people dancing, the concession stand in full swing. I had so many comments from neighboring areas that just applauded how beautiful the whole park looks and the activities. It's just very, very vibrant and thriving. It was really, felt so much like a community. It was really, really cool. That's all I have.
On the note of expressing appreciation for the Marywood Park, as we've done, we've shown our appreciation to Borough Works. I would also like to congratulate our administration, who behind the scenes does so much to ensure that every project that we have gets done well, gets done correctly, and they never, ever take any credit. And I would also like to thank Council for the vision that we have had for the parks and seeing it all come to fruition. It is very exciting, and I hope that we can continue it with the rest of our parks for the enjoyment of everyone. That's it. Anything else? Everybody good?
With the chief.
Chief Metz, would you like to say anything?
Just the successful fireworks again.
Even with the rain.
Everything went off, it was a little, wasn't as crowded as most years, but our traffic plan for the last 2 years has worked a lot better, I think, getting people out of there. That is a cooperation with the area departments also, along with our police and the fire. So I'd like to thank them, and it's really working out good.
Okay. Yes. Everyone else?
Good to go?
Good to go. Meeting adjourned.